On February 7, 2025, something shifted deep inside the forested ridgelines of eastern Ukraine. Something so precise, so silent, and so devastating that almost no one realized what had happened until the smoke had already begun to rise. Before sunrise, before any patrol stepped out onto the frosted ground, before the first radio check crackled through the static, Ukrainian drone operators were already awake, watching a quiet hillside that hid the most important Russian command post in the region. But the Russian commander inside that underground cave had no idea his assumed sanctuary had been compromised. He believed himself protected by stone obscurity and secrecy. What he didn't know was that the sky above him had been watching for days. For more than a week, a network of Ukrainian drones drifted across the forest canopy like invisible ghosts. Some flew high, recording thermal signatures and mapping the terrain with patient precision. Others skimmed low over the treetops, quietly documenting vehicle routes, guard rotations, and the subtle patterns of movement leading in and out of the rugged hillside. Every time the cave entrance opened, drones tracked the direction of the smoke, the warmth of engines, the footprints in the mud. Every time supply trucks arrived, operators logged timestamps, angles, and behavior. Bit by bit, the hidden command center revealed itself, not physically, but through the rhythm of its daily routine. The most important discovery came 3 days before the strike. A high-ranking Russian sector commander entered the cave complex through a camouflaged access point near a collapsed bunker. Surveillance drones watched the unmarked vehicle that carried him. Its route was predictable, its arrival time consistent, and its presence confirmed the intelligence analysts' long suspicion. This was not simply a cave, it was a fully functioning command bunker directing operations across the northern front line. The mission to neutralize the cave and isolate the commander was approved within hours. On February 7, pre-dawn darkness covered the valley. The forest was quiet except for a faint hum, barely audible, barely noticeable, coming from several drone platforms hovering at staggered altitudes. The sky was cold, tinted blue by the fading night. Below, the hillside looked still, but inside the cave system, lights glowed, engines warmed, and the commander's staff prepared for another day of coordination and planning. They believed the thick stone walls made them invisible, but the drones could see everything. The first sign that the operation had begun came from a 250-meter altitude drone that caught movement near the cave gate. A supply vehicle approached along the narrow tree-lined road. As the entrance began to open, just a few centimeters at first, the drone transmitted the signal that operators had been waiting for. Phase 1 was activated instantly. An FPV strike drone lifted from its hidden nest between two fallen trees. It accelerated low to the ground, racing along the forest floor with the precision of a guided arrow. Branches whipped past its camera. The entrance ahead glowed faintly with artificial light. Operators watched through the drone's feed, adjusting micro movements, aligning the strike perfectly with the narrow opening. At the exact moment the gate opened wide enough for the supply vehicle to enter, the drone dove. The explosion was sharp, controlled, and devastating. Dust erupted from the hillside. Metal fragments clattered across the forest path. The gate collapsed inward, sealing the entrance with rock and debris. Inside, the command center plunged into chaos. Lights flickered, radios jammed. Officers inside shouted into headsets that no longer transmitted. No one could exit. No one could open the gate. And most importantly, the commander was now trapped inside a compromised structure with zero visibility of what was happening outside. While the cave entrance smoked, Phase 2 launched automatically. A second drone moved toward a communications truck parked on a ridge above the cave. The truck's crew stepped out, staring at the collapsed entrance below, unaware of the danger floating behind them. The drone locked onto the vehicle's thermal outline and descended with brutal precision. The blast disabled the engine and snapped the antenna mast, dropping the entire communications network offline. Within 30 seconds, the cave command post was blind, silent, and disconnected from the battlefield. Panic erupted across the hillside. Russian soldiers scrambled for cover, unsure of where the attack came from. Some ran between trees, others attempted to start nearby transports. But every movement became a beacon for the aerial swarm. A third FPV drone descended toward an armored carrier, trying to reposition closer to the collapsed entrance. The drone skimmed treetops, banking sharply before diving toward the engine compartment. The hit forced the vehicle off the path and into a shallow ditch. Soldiers climbed out, coughing in the dust. At this point, the operators had achieved total situational dominance. The drones watched everything. Every footstep, every panic-driven sprint, every attempt to secure the area. Operators calmly directed their drones to key choke points, road junctions, vehicle clusters, evacuation lanes. Each strike wasn't about destruction. It was about trapping the command staff inside and cutting their ability to call for help. The surveillance drones zoomed out, capturing the unfolding collapse from above. You could see soldiers scattering into the woods. You could see trucks stalled in the road. You could see confusion spreading with every second. Then came the footage that confirmed the mission's success. A small group of Russian soldiers attempted to dig out the cave entrance, but another drone drifted low, recording them as they coordinated. The operator watched, waited, then sent a warning signal by diving low and pulling up at the last moment. The soldiers fled instantly, abandoning their tools and positions. No one dared return to the entrance. The mission had achieved its objective: isolate the command post, paralyze the leadership, collapse the network. But the operation wasn't done. Down the valley, a second convoy attempted to approach the area. Trucks and armored vehicles pushed up the narrow forest road, unaware of the drones waiting ahead. As the column appeared on thermal view, FPV drones launched in coordinated waves. One drone hit the lead truck, blocking the path. Another struck the rear vehicle, trapping the column. A third hovered, recording soldiers jumping out and scattering into the tree line. The entire roadway became a choke point of abandoned vehicles and overturned equipment. Smoke drifted upward through the tree branches. Drones circled from above, tracking every attempt to regroup. No organized defense formed. No rescue operation took shape. Everything fell apart in minutes. Deep inside the cave, the trapped commander issued orders no one could hear. The radios were dead. The vehicles were destroyed. Reinforcements couldn't reach them. The command structure collapsed layer by layer, all while operators miles away watched the entire mission unfold like a chessboard they had already solved. As hours passed, drones recorded the aftermath. Soldiers running deeper into the forest, vehicles smoldering on the road, the cave entrance fully sealed, communications, equipment offline, defensive positions abandoned, patrols scattered and disorganized. The hillside, once a functioning command hub, was now a silent zone of smoke, dust, shattered equipment, and confusion. For the next several hours, drones maintained overwatch. No one exited the cave, no relief convoy, no high-level leadership emerged. The mission was over. And it was a complete success. 10 days later, when the footage finally surfaced, the world saw what happened: a precise, silent, surgical strike that dismantled a high-level Russian command post without a single Ukrainian soldier needing to step foot on the hillside. This is modern warfare, a battlefield controlled from the sky, where no cave is deep enough, no leader hidden enough, and no command post safe enough to escape the eyes of a patient drone.